After EA had acquired the rights to the Medal of Honor franchise, they set out to release sequels on multiple platforms. We saw releases on the PC with Allied Assault, the PS2 with Frontline, and a second game for the PS1. The second game was Medal of Honor Underground, and here the player would assume the role of a French resistance fighter. The game acted as a nice bookend to the PS1 Medal of Honor games. With EA continually looking to expand the franchise and hit a wider audience, they opted to port Underground to the Game Boy Advance. This was met with disastrous results. The system really wasn't built for a port of this game, and this resulted in a very bad version to a very great game. But from this failure, another opportunity was born. EA wanted to attempt to release another Medal of Honor on the Game Boy Advance, but this time it would be an exclusive built from the ground up. They partnered with a developer who had experience on that platform. The goal was to create something unique and original rather than just a port of a prior title. Join me as we take a look back at Medal of Honor Infiltrator. After the lackluster release of Medal of Honor Underground for the Game Boy Advance, EA wanted to try again at making a proper game from the ground up for that platform. To ensure quality, EA wanted to work with a developer who had experience with developing for the Game Boy Advance. This resulted in the publisher hearing a lot of pitches for a potential Medal of Honor handheld game. EA really liked the idea that NetherRock was presenting, and they entered into a contract to make the title. The developers wanted to present the action in a style that would better fit the handheld. As such, it was decided to make most of the action happen from a top-down perspective. The inspirations for Infiltrator were Metal Slug, Commando, and Duck Hunt. The goal was to take what the Big Brother Medal of Honor games did, and then deliver something unique while maintaining the quality one would expect from the series. During these levels, the player would engage in shootouts and complete objectives similar to what the main character did in the original Medal of Honor. Different pieces of equipment would help the player, like TNT and bazookas, which would be used to blow up installations. Levels would offer light exploration with finding secondary objectives that would lead to different unlocks. The missions would be broken up into individual chunks that a player could play a little at a time or in one sitting. At the same time, the team wanted to find a way to incorporate Medal of Honor's first-person roots into the game in some form. This is where the first-person rail shooting stages came from. In these levels, the player would control a cursor like in a light gun game. These would be quick stages with lots of action. This was a fresh start for the portable Medal of Honor games. EA learned through their failure with porting Underground that a simple one-for-one port could not work on the platform that they were trying to bring their game to. But building something from the ground up allowed for a completely new and unique experience to be enjoyed on the GBA. In November 2003, Medal of Honor Infiltrator was released to the world. Medal of Honor Infiltrator is a top-down shooter mixed with stages of first-person shooting. The bulk of the action is experienced from a top-down perspective, and the game can be pretty impressive for a handheld. The action is generally good, along with allowing for some light stealth to provide some variability. Mixed into some of the missions are first-person rail shooting type stages that act like set-piece battles. While being a very hard game, it is really enjoyable and captures the essence of Medal of Honor in a new way. Like I said, the bulk of the action is presented from the top-down perspective. You can aim in any direction and hold the right shoulder button to allow you to strafe. You can switch weapons with the press of a button and reload as well. While the control system isn't perfect, it does a good job of using what buttons the Game Boy Advance has to provide an experience like this. The fire button also doubles as a melee attack if you are really close to an enemy. The levels are separated into different chunks. Usually you have an objective to do in this area and then you move on on to the next one. Sometimes you need to defeat certain enemies or blow up a structure or steal some intel. The objectives are very similar to what you would find on the console versions. While in the levels, you will be equipped with a loadout, which consists of 2 items. For example, you start out with the Thompson and grenades, but you can also use the M1 Garand with TNT, among others. Each of the different loadouts come with their own strengths and weaknesses. For example, you can carry around a bazooka for ranged destruction, but it is paired with a pistol, which is not good for contending with multiple foes. The Thompson is great for making quick work of soldiers, but the grenades cannot blow open doors to go into new areas. Within each of the levels, there are stations that allow you to change to another loadout. When you change your loadout, you will gain a restock, and you can do this as many times as you want. The stations also act as checkpoints of sorts that you'll go back to if you die. What was appreciated that you will even notice in the first level is how there is a mild amount of exploration with some additional paths. This can lead to additional health and ammo, along with completing side objectives to help you earn all of the in-game medals. For the most part, the shooting is pretty decent, with good sound effects along with enemies bouncing back when they die. There are a mix of levels that either go for action or stealth, or a mix of the two. The stealth is very light. Your melee attack is a silent kill, and if you can time it right, you can get right behind an enemy and kill them before they see you. In the stealth focused levels, there will be plenty of guards along with watchtowers that can spot you. If you get detected, then reinforcements will come in and you need to take them out before you can move to the next area. Some of the missions really nail the Covert Ops nature of the Medal of Honor series, with some featuring a quiet in and loud out kind of levels. In one mission, you need to sneak through an area to get to a mansion. Once in the mansion, you need to meet an informant, and this is all action as you take out all of the guards. To add more variety are a few parts where you can man a tank. In addition to this are first-person stages that are only focused on action. These levels are like a light gun shooter where you need to fire on anything that comes on the screen. It is really enjoyable to throw your explosives at the enemies and watch them fly around. These parts are very short, fun, and break up the action nicely. Overall, Infiltrator is a lot of fun and also very hard. There are points where I feel like the game could have benefited from better balancing since some parts feel outright cheap. It really comes down to the randomness of the health drops from enemies that can make certain parts harder than they need to be. While the controls are pretty good for what the developer had to work with, the shooting controls could have definitely used some refinement. There is a bit of a clunky nature to really getting your aim right for the shooting. In many situations, I found myself trying to aim at an enemy, and how the controls worked, I ended up getting shot more than I would have if the controls were better. For example, it would have been great if this game could get a remastered release today, and benefit from being able to be played with dual sticks so that the shooting operates a bit more like a twin-stick shooter. This would really elevate a lot of the clunky nature to the shooting. While the combat is clunky at times, it still is really fun. There were some odd things that I noticed as well, like how grenades cannot blow up objectives, and you needed to use the TNT or the bazooka to do this. I can understand grenades not being able to blow open a door, but they really should be able to ignite an enemy ammo stash. What is appreciated are how there are 2 unlockable modes that can be obtained through getting the different level medals. One mode is a survival mode that is great for quick fun and fits the handheld well. The other is like a harder version of the main game. Nothing out of the ordinary for the unlocks, but appreciated that they were included. Overall, the game is pretty fun and good from a presentation standpoint. The game even comes supplied with its own Medal of Honor theme, and it's pretty good here. Here's a bit from that track. Medal of Honor Infiltrator is a smaller and enjoyable game within this great franchise. It uses the limitations of the Game Boy Advance to create a unique entry within the series that sadly never received a sequel. While not perfect, this was a good foundation to build on. I think this game would have benefited from a modern remaster with updated controls and even the addition to play the entire campaign in local and online co-op. A potential modernization would potentially help to iron out some of the flaws that I had with the game along with the general general aiming. The mixture of top-down levels with some rail shooting was a good choice to incorporate the same elements from the console counterparts, but in a new way. This is easily one of the more overlooked entries within the series, as it was only released on the Game Boy Advance. And even so, if you are a fan of the franchise, this is worth checking out. It is pretty hard, but also a lot of fun. Thank you very much for watching.